My name is Matt Puckett. I am from Austin, Texas. I am an ACA member. I'm a member of a group called Mother Falcon. And I'm very excited to be here to kind of open things up. When John Reedy and I were kind of talking about this event and kind of trying to get some larger perspective on the city and what's going on here right now, I kind of flashed back to my memory of first encountering Mother Falcon as a band, which was in 2009, the year that I graduated college. I went to school in New York, and I decided to come back home for a variety of reasons. And none of those were music at all, not even close. But I bumped into this group, and the first thing that struck me was the level of risk that was being taken. It was a totally absurd idea. And as years would go on, we would continue to encounter that notion. People would see us setting up and say, that's silly. For those of you who don't know, Mother Falcon is like a 14 to at times 23 member group of orchestral instruments, lovingly referred to as the sound guy's nightmare. But, you know, I came in from New York, which to me, the music scene there was very risk averse, and it was not encouraged. The stakes of living were so high that no one wanted to do anything that felt like it was going to fail, or that it could fail, or was likely to fail. And that's what was exciting to me about Mother Falcon, is here's a group that everyone was saying probably would fail, but we were doing it anyways, and we stuck with it, and it's been going on for a long time. That's crazy. That was 8 years ago, almost. And as I think about why it's valuable for me to be a member of ACA, and you know, I've had the privilege of being able to talk to John about a lot of what's been going on lately. It occurs to me that one of the things that's we are at risk as a community, as a city, of losing is that friendliness towards risk-taking with artists. And I think what big thing that's valuable about what this group is doing and what we can all do together is provide a cushion for failure, right? Because when you take risks, failure is inevitable, and we learn from failure, and that's good. I have appreciated the last few years being part of a community in Mother Falcon and in Austin that says that that's okay. But as everything gets more and more expensive, you know, these are the times that we need to band together and work together to, I don't know, kind of weather the storm and figure that out. So, that said, another thing that has occurred to me, and this is a big deal for Mother Falcon, and I know that we've had partners with ACA that have helped us out as well, is that in 2012, years after I came to the band, we started a summer camp, and we do kind of that rock band model of camp, but with kids who are playing orchestral instruments. It's 11 to 18. We put them into bands. We focus a lot on collaboration and finding your own voice and expressing your creativity with the skills that you already have, which is kind of a wild thing for that group of instruments. And it was also, like everything we've done, seemed like a harebrained idea. But ACA has sponsored us a few years in a row and given us money that's made it really possible to have that be something that's not just for kids of privilege, but any kid at any school who is picking up an instrument. It's a very important part of our vision that we're totally stirring up the pot and bringing in people regardless of the income and what part of town they're in. And we've even gone so far as to drive out and pick up kids like from their parents' house because, you know, their parents are about to go to work and they don't have time to drop them off at camp. And all that stuff is possible with funding from ACA. And I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm excited to see what other opportunities get discussed tonight and whether the doors like that get to be opened.
Hello. I'm Shay Little. I'm the Executive Director of Big Medium and the Board Chair of the Austin Crave Alliance. And I just want to say thank you all for coming here tonight. Being here, I think, is a big part of what we all have to do in this community. Convening is probably one of the most important things that we can and should be doing. It's one of those integral aspects of us as a creative culture. We have to come together, we have to talk, we have to share our interests, our needs. We need to figure out ways that we can gather and talk about those critical issues that we all face together and ways that we can work together to address those. And in with convening is also inclusion. We all have to do our best to break down those barriers, ethnic, racial, geographic, socioeconomic barriers that are separating us into our different groups. And also in the city, we tend to have major issues with our disciplines and our silos and the separation between music and arts, or however you define those things, theater and visual, and the different sectors that we talk about very often. Those have to get broken down so we all come together as one big community and work together to solve the complex, very, very complex issues at hand. And I joined the ACA in an effort to help do that, to help bring communities together, to help address these major issues that we're facing here in Austin. And for about a year now, the ACA has been working through the Creative Summit process to bring the creative sector together, to have conversations, and to look at what the issues we all share and we're facing. Through that process, no surprise, we came across affordability. And affordability is not new. It's been an issue that I've been facing personally through my work as Big Medium, the East Austin Studio Tour. Artists in East Austin and West Austin, all over Austin, are facing those issues. And it's an issue that we've been probably facing prior to my time. It is just an integral part of the existence of an artist trying to find space and a place to live and a place to exhibit work and perform that is affordable to their means. I think it will always be an issue. It's a complex struggle that we have to constantly be working towards. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's something that we will probably be addressing and dealing with forever. I hope not, but I think that it is a long-term issue that needs continual and ongoing conversations that we as a community convene, talk together, and then go and take that to the bigger community at large and make sure that we're informing them and talking about it. The music and creative ecosystem omnibus resolution and Austin Music People's Music Summit series are all great opportunities for us to get involved. Tomorrow night, the Marquesa Hall, 6 to 8, is a public hearing to talk about the music and creative omnibus resolution. The Music Summit series is going on the next 2 weekends, I believe. These are times for us to get together and talk about these issues, talk about affordability, and express our needs as a community, not just as individuals, but as a big, broad, creative sector that needs to be here in Austin. So I would just like to encourage us all, thank you all for being here, and I would like to encourage further engagement and involvement in that conversation. We're going to hear some interesting and exciting proposals and ideas around creative infrastructure, affordability, how to maintain what's happening in Austin into the future. We should all get behind those efforts and support them. And I'm going to introduce John, who has been the efforts behind ACA, trying to push this initiative forward and really keep this at the forefront of Austin. So, John.
Thanks, dude. I want to thank all the board members who are here. Can you guys raise your hands and whoop whoop a little bit? Yeah. They're strategically planted throughout the room to spy on your conversations and responses. I also want to thank the sponsors listed here, especially the Cultural Arts Division. Megan, where are you? Hey. Yeah, as Shay mentioned, they have a public hearing tomorrow night. And I wanted to clarify that when Matt was talking about getting money from ACA, he was actually getting money through ACA from Cultural Arts Division. And what Mother Falcon used that money for was to provide scholarships to ensure economic diversity in their camp. And their camp is an amazing thing. I'm privileged to not only do this job, but I manage artists, including Mother Falcon. And Matt Puckett, who was up here, has become like a brother to me. Working with artists really important to me. I'm married to an artist, a musician. My oldest son is a reggae artist. And that's why I came to Austin. So I'm happy to be in this job and really, it's magic. It's like Bernie's rally. I need a bird to come right here. But I'm really happy to do this work, as tough as it is. So thank you for coming and joining this cause. I'm going to go through the process that we've been running the last year just to bring you up to speed. The Creative Sector Summits were invitation-oriented, not only invitation. We really scoured to try to get a diverse group in every meeting. But we really wanted people who ran organizations to come and talk, because if the organizations are healthy, that means there's jobs for artists. And so that was it was really an organizational level kind of a situation. The first one was discovering common challenges. And we got Cookie Ruiz, who many of you know, and Brad Spees, who was the Music Commission chair at the time, as a sign of unity. We need to bring music and the arts together because the challenges they face are shared challenges. And we discovered that. We came out of that with sort of 10 moonshot ideas, and 4 of them were about, imagine this, space, the lack thereof, the inaccessibility of it, and really the fact that a lot of people are facing displacement. And then another group of common factors were a sense that we need to come together. People use words like Chamber of Commerce, but this is the one that really struck me. That we need a cross-disciplinary creative think tank willing to stay at the tables on Austin's most complex issue for as long as it takes. That's what it's about, staying at the table on these big picture things. Our sector, the artists, the creative community, needs to be there when we talk about transportation, when we talk about land use. And it's not fun, and it's not exciting, and it's not as fun as making a play or playing a gig, but somebody has to do it, so here I am. Because this is a real crisis. We're not just making this up. We surveyed 420, I think it was 150 music venues and 280-something other artistic spaces. And look at this. That's 47.7% feel safe. That means 52.3% don't feel like they're going to have their space when their next lease is up within the next 5 years. That's amazing. What we've noticed, we started looking at other cities. This is happening in London. David, you sent me that link. Boris Johnson, the mayor of London, is saying that they're going to lose 2,500 artist spaces in the next decade. San Francisco is losing artist spaces and venues like crazy. And what's happening is pretty clear. In overheated property markets, the rise in property values far outstrips the ability of these organizations, which are small margin, nonprofit, or even the for-profit ones, a pretty small margin, to meet those rising rents. And we have data sets, these, that show that. I mean, consistently, our creative community is saying that they can't afford space. Not only do we not have enough space now, we're losing space when we need more. When the city grows, we're going to need more. So we started looking at other cities, and we brought the second summit together to share ideas. And people cast a broad net. We brought ideas in from all over the city, all over the world. People came and, Ann Graham turned me on to the Massachusetts Cultural Council. Brad Spees brought in some trust ideas. And we started taking these ideas and fitting them together so that there wasn't duplication and overlap. So what you're going to hear tonight are not ideas that came from ACA, but ideas synthesized from lots of people talking over a long period of time. What we kind of learned from the second summit was that affordability means 2 things. We have to increase creative incomes. Costs are not going down. We have to make it pay better to be an artist in Austin and to be an arts educator in Austin. But we can decrease property costs. There's lots of mechanisms for that, and we'll talk about some of those. And then the third summit, we really started to define it. Like, what's the pie in the sky? What's it look like if this is awesome, if this is great? And that brought a bunch of other ideas forward. What we figured out by looking at other cities who've succeeded, and I specifically think about Denver, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh. There's 3 cities. Houston has been doing a lot of creative infrastructure work. Cities that in the midst of their growth, were able to strengthen their cultural identity by doing 4 things. They empower ownership. They empower their arts groups to own. Ownership means stability. Ownership means the ability to plan far in advance, not worry about a 3-year lease displacing you every 5 years or 3 years. Denver and Minneapolis developed new audiences for their theater and performing arts sector. In fact, Minneapolis has invested over $500 million in creative infrastructure in the last decade. Denver pulled together a theater district that is just happening. And what that means is stable jobs for those artists and an arts education employment force for their communities. And that's the next thing. As Austin grows, we're going to need more arts education, not less. And yet we see arts education programs throughout town struggling to find enough space. They could get more students. We've talked to people like Austin Chamber Music Center and Zach Scott. They could have more kids in their programs. They can't find affordable space. But if they could, they would have more kids in their programs and more artists teaching those programs and more jobs for artists. And then finally, you've got to grow your creative infrastructure as your city grows. Otherwise, your culture dies on the vine. So these are the 4 areas that we need to invest in as a community. And then well, there it is. It's about jobs. If you want artists to be in Austin, they have to have jobs. They have to have things to do with their talents and their skills. And the 4th summit was about defining a unified plan. And that's sort of where we're at tonight. The mayor's resolution, the city council resolution opens the door for this. We're going to put these forth anyway, so it's a real nice synchronicity that the resolution's out there, and we're in the midst of it.